Tomorrow night, the two most overrated players in world football, Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane, will be facing off against one another. They'll be representing two of the biggest clubs in world football, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. And here are my predictions for the two legs. I think Real Madrid will go through. I think they'll go through fairly comfortably, but they're not going to absolutely smash Bayern. This Real Madrid side don't have the attacking firepower of old, but they are the best defensive side in Europe this season. And they have players like Vinicius and Rodrigo, two of the best Champions League big game players in the world. I think Vinicius and Rodrigo will be of extreme importance in this tie. And on top of that, Bayern Munich having Harry Kane, an absolutely trash big game player, a center forward who spends most of his big games jogging around on the halfway line and barely threatening the goal, is going to be a huge weakness for Bayern. When you have a center forward like that and you're up against the best defense in Europe, that's a huge problem. Bayern's X factors will be Kimmich, Sané, but it's really weird that they're going to be depending on their fullbacks and their wingers to score in these big games. I think that's going to really hurt them. I think ultimately Real Madrid's defense will be too much for Bayern to handle, and I think Vinicius and Rodrigo can kill the game at any moment. And as much shit as I say about Bellingham, he's still a much better big game player than Harry Kane. He makes forward runs that can be threatening. He's a decent outlet. He even has some hold-up play from time to time to help progress the ball forward. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see Bellingham score over two legs. And also, another thing is, Bayern's defense are not good this season. A lot of people rating Bayern's chances are people who rate Thomas Tuchel. Yes, Thomas Tuchel is great in cup competitions, but let's not forget, he had great defensive personnel at PSG and Chelsea. At PSG, he had Thiago Silva. He had Marquinhos playing at defensive midfielder. At Chelsea, he had Kanté and Rudiger. Right now, he's playing with Delight and Eric Dyer at centre-back. Eric Dyer. If he wants to bring on a substitute at centre-back, he's got Upamecano, a guy who makes more mistakes than a 5-year-old on a math test. Tuchel needs good defensive personnel to excel in these cup competitions, and he doesn't have that this season. And that's reflected by Bayern's performances. They are pretty leaky in defense this season. Their defense in big games is nothing special. Against Arsenal in the last round, an inexperienced, scared, timid Arsenal, they still conceded 2 goals. They're going to be up against a much stronger defense than Arsenal. They're also going to be up against players like Vinicius, Rodrigo, far better big game Champions League players than anything Arsenal had to offer. I think over 2 legs, it's not going to be high scoring, but I think Real Madrid will still go through relatively comfortably. So, a low scoring tie, but I'd say Real Madrid probably win by 2 goals, maybe 3 goals over the 2 legs.